You are listening to Single Women and Motherhood on Apex Radio.
What's good, y'all? And now tuned in to Apex Radio.
Hey, what's up? You're listening to Apex Radio.
And I am feeling all right. Hello, what a beautiful day we have outside today. We have to just be able to stop, smell the rose, acknowledge, and keep it moving. I'm Ann-Marie Ricketts, and welcome to the S.W.I.M show, Single Women and Motherhood Training Program. And we are here today to talk about moving forward and doing it. I'm here as an executive director, the founder, a life coach, a mother, and a friend. I am here to continue with the support of each and every one of you. We are here with the lovely Christine, and I just want Christine to introduce herself.
Hi, everybody. I am Christine, and I came across the Single Women in Motherhood program when I moved back to London, Ontario 17 years ago. I moved back to London after having been away for 17 years. And it was all brand new to me, so I was really grateful for the S.W.I.M programming. I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a holistic healer, and I'm a mother of one very healthy baby boy.
Yes, and he is a handsome little dude. How is it going with him? Is he talking, going to university yet?
Well, he's got enough opinions already to believe that he's been to university and back. But yeah, he's learning to walk, and he hasn't quite started talking, but it's a lot of fun to start to be able to communicate more with pointing and acknowledgement. It's a great process.
I'm telling you, these little angels, you wonder if I think in the future they're going to be born with books or, maybe like laptops in their hand, or, having their own little baby toddler school of teaching each other, because they're so intelligent when they have arrived, right? You have to wonder, how they're so smart, how they're growing so fast. So in times like this, you got to stop, Christine, and just acknowledge every single moment, because as you spin around, he's going to be telling you, I'm watching TV, Mom, what? And then you're going to think, oh my gosh, he got so big so fast, and not remember, the important days. So we have to just, indulge in them, because these kids, they're growing so fast on us, right? But that's so nice. It's so nice to have you here today and to, talk a little bit with you and, to hear how much you've grown, because I am like so overwhelmed. I'm impressed. Matter of fact, I'm just proud to see how successful you are and the things that you've been involved with. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Before we get into anything, we normally just do our parenting tips, and I have a few here to share. So as I go through them, maybe we can, add in about how we apply that to ourselves, and have this ever came across to you. And one of the tip for this week is nurture their natural spirituality. And I know we've talked about this before, but I really like that from last week when I looked at it about nurturing their natural spirituality, because children are very close to a spiritual possibility if only they are not meddled with. And I thought about that over and over, and it is really, really true, because they are so, they are so pure, natural, innocent. They don't have no pre notion, or they don't think about what they're going to do. They just continue going through their journey, which is just a natural ability. And when we start to intervene and, train and teach, and unfortunately, we've heard so much about young children that's in war and they're being pulled into all kinds of negativity, it is really an interruption of their journey, right? Because if you just allow a children to be who they are, we'd be surprised who they become if we just work with them. How does that reside with you?
Well, you picked a topic definitely dear to my heart. Spirituality is something that I like to explore every single day of my life. And I also really believe that if I don't nurture my own spirituality, I can't nurture the spirituality of my child. I mean, you certainly touched on it, that few things in life have created as much conflict as the word religion. But if we take that out of it and we are exploring what spirituality means to us, and especially from a children's vantage point, then we definitely start to see joy in everything. And I think joy is the backbone to spirituality. When we have joy in our hearts are open. When our hearts are open, we find gratitude. And when we find gratitude, life just becomes so much easier, and we approach everything, with that childlike innocence that you touched on. Is just so beautiful.
Exactly. I mean, generally in our children life, we have to, be aware that not only your parents, but your teachers, the society today, television is not even as bad as the internet, where all people are going, where everybody's going to for knowledge and growth, and anything you want to know, you're jumping on the internet, and that's one of the biggest recruiting tools that they have out there. I'm talking about, the religions, as you just mentioned, encouraging them and keeping them, being able to listen to your child is the biggest way to help to guide them, not to be able to impose on them your belief, but, share with them what you're going through, share with them what you've learned, because we're all here learning on this earth. And we, at the age of 20, 30, 40, 50, even 60, is still searching, right? And we continue to search and we continue to seek until you find something dear to your heart and that's comfortable. So that's what we want to encourage parents to do is, stop and listen to your children, talk to them, open-ended question. What do you think about that? How does that feel to you? Would you like to go to church? Don't force them, because I remember when we were younger, we didn't have a choice. We had to go to church, whether we like it or not. And you dare not fall asleep in the back seat. So those are the way things have taken a toll on a lot of young ladies I've ran into in the past, with religion and how they were forced to do certain things. And then the worst part is when they see that you are not living up to what you've been teaching. So being able to listen to your child, and remember, children teaches us, right? We learn a lot from our children. So embrace that. Enjoy it as it comes, right? The other tip we want to talk about is provide a supportive and loving atmosphere. And what does that mean? You have to have a place for them where they can be who they are. They can be free. Children can put their feet up in the couch, and you're not going to freak out because you just paid $10,000 for that couch. So there's no enjoyment with that couch. They have to have that place where they can, when they become an adult, they could, they smell something, or they pass some, see a flower, and it just brings them right back to their childhood, to remember. I remember lying in my mom's couch in the basement, and we all used to sit around watching movies. We got to provide that loving atmosphere for them. If you set an example of fear and anxiety, how can you expect your children to live in joy? They will also learn the same thing. The best thing you can do is to create a joyous and loving atmosphere. I believe that.
Absolutely. I mean, there's so much information coming at us left, right, and center in today's world. And sometimes it's a lot of chaos. And so for me, the idea of that supportive and loving atmosphere is taking some time in our living room, like you mentioned, except for, in my case, it's a technology-free zone. So there's no phones, there's no cameras, there's no TV. And a lot of times I won't even allow the radio. And the reason is it causes us to really focus on each other and to be present in the moment and to just enjoy each other. And sometimes it's a 5 minutes and sometimes it's a 10 minutes. And maybe on some days we've got a couple of hours. But I make sure that every single day we have a 5-minute zone of just enjoying one another, just to keep working on that bond and to just, keep appreciating each other. Because I'm sure, as you know, when it's 4 o'clock in the morning and they're waking you up screaming, it's hard to enjoy them. So you want to create those moments that remind you, why you're in it and where that love comes from, and keep that love nice and strong. That is
one of the most powerful parenting advice I've heard since I started this. And I have to say, I want to reinforce that. I want you to know and hear that, not just to listen, but to actually hear. This mom is telling us that she goes to a technology-free zone. No TV, no camera, no radio, just her and her family in that moment, right? Just for that, I'm going to actually adapt that. I'm really going to adapt that, because we use our TV as a babysitter. We use the TV as a distractor. We use, the phone. And my little girl, she does not, it's not a question. It is, I want your attention now. And I'm not waiting, not later. Get off the phone now. Whatever you're doing, leave that computer alone. I need to hug and I need to rub. And it's like, okay. So I think in every mom's life, in every family, we need to adapt that behavior and really, really make it part of our life. Like when we get up every day and brush our teeth, it needs to be a continuing routine that we take. And maybe the children need to know, okay, this is our bonding moment, right? I know we're busy. We're moving all over the place and we don't have time and it's not enough hours in the day. But I heard somebody said the other day, I think I have the same amount of hours in my day like you do. So it's not what we have or how, we just have to make it happen.
I saw a great article just yesterday, actually, on this very topic. A mom was saying at the end of the day, she just spent the entire evening with her family of 3 kids. But by the time all of her to-do list was done, she felt like she hadn't had any time with her kids.
No, and it's true.
And so what she did is she walked in the door one day, and in fact, she had a meltdown. She yelled at all of the kids to follow her, and even the toddler did. And she marched upstairs. She took the blanket off of her bed and she crawled in, and she just told everybody to crawl in. And she was stunned by what happened next. Instead of their chaos and all the arguments and all the fighting and putting out all the fires, they all sat and giggled. They cuddled. They talked about their day. They asked questions. And when they were done their time, they went about their routines, and everything came with so much ease. Wow. And they adapted that into their day-to-day life. And I think, it can change to be different times of the day. When you have a small infant, maybe it's the middle of the night that you have that bonding. Maybe it's before breakfast you have that bonding. Or once you've got school kids and you're on the go, maybe it is that 5 minutes when you walk in the door before you get going on all the projects that have to be done, homework and baths and dinner. You take that 5 minutes to just appreciate each other.
That, I just feel like I want to stop here. I feel like I'm in awe. Like, you hear it, or I've heard it before. We've said it before. We talk about it. But for some reason, it's just sitting right today, And while you're talking, Christine, what just came to me? All the children that is being diagnosed with ADHD and DDD and EEE and all the E's out there, that would make such a big difference in a child's life, especially the ones that's going through depression and bullying at school and feeling deep down, not having that safe zone or that place to share where they're what they're going through, because you're so busy. And we get it. We get it. We get it. We get it. We are given the tools that we have to use. But how wonderful it is when you're using a tool that is not giving you the results or making the changes or fixing that thing that needs to be fixed. How wonderful it is in today's day that we could try a different tool. We could listen and hear what others have, what has worked for others. Ain't nothing wrong with making some changes. Change is good. Change is really, really good. Sometimes the changes are difficult to get through, but change is good. Okay? Next, oh, wow. Here we go again. Maintain a friendly relationship. You want to tap on that before I speak on it?
I think that just falls right into what we've been talking about. When you create that loving and supportive environment, when you're asking good questions and helping children explore spirituality, you're building that bond of openness and the ability to communicate. And you totally called it, that they're watching us and they're watching our example. And if we don't make the time to be with them, they're not going to make the time to be with us. And like you said, they're only little for a small chapter. So
I'm telling you. And then you get into the reality that you're living a dream or a nightmare because they change that fast in front of you. Maintaining a friendly relationship with your child is so important, because if they can't be your friend, how do you expect them to find good quality friends outside? It all starts in the home. We are the teaching material. We are the ones they adore and they look up to. And my older children, one said to me, and every now and then they disappear, okay? And they come back and they always say, "Mom, you're my best friend." And I yeah, right. I haven't heard from you in 2 weeks. Where have you been? I don't treat my friends like that. And no, Mom, every day I think. So when we think they're not thinking of us, or everything they do in their life is a representative of what we've taught them.
And I like one of the things you also talked about too is if we are going to be friends, which on one level I'm okay with, we have to ask ourselves, what are the healthy boundaries we use to define friendships in our adult life? Because those are the exact things we're going to teach our children. We're teaching our children how to treat us, and we're teaching our children how to meet and make good friends and make good friendships. So I think it's an incredibly important part of parenting.
I think too, some moms, because of their journeys, especially single moms and what they're going through in life, it can be hard for them to connect with their children on a level of friendship level because of what they're going through. They have not found what they need to find. They have not seek what they need to seek to give them that comfort, that love, that at ease, that empowerment of knowing they're safe, they're moving forward. I'm talking the parents now. And because they're going through that challenging journey or that unique journey that they have to go through to become who they need to become, they're, especially if they're bitter inside. So what do you do, or what do you say to a mom? And I have a friend right now that actually she's going through that. But until a mom is ready to listen and hear, or be accountable for, okay, so what are you doing? Because a relationship just doesn't involve around a man and a woman. The relationship revolves around your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your husband, your children, your mother, your brother. It's all how we represent ourselves. And I remember when my son, oh my gosh, when he was a teenager, I said to myself, I will not be friends with this child. He's not listening. He's doing everything I ask him not to do. He thinks he's a man. He thinks he runs this house. And I was angry. Oh my gosh, I was so angry. Just talking to him, and if he answers back in a negative way, I would like, ooh. And I remember a friend of mine said to me that I was working with, that kind of was giving us some support. And he said to me that, Anne-Marie, one day you and your son is going to be best friends. Whew. Yeah, right. I couldn't see that a long mile away. But today, we are really best friends. But how did I get there? Now, this is what I want to share. I remember being in the kitchen one day after arguing with one of the kids and yelling and screaming. I was so angry that a voice said to me, now, would you have just talked to your girlfriend like that, who you respect? Seriously, would you have spoken to the person that you consider your friend, that you do everything with, you go out with, you respect? Would you have responded to them in that way? And my heart just dropped, and it's like, oh my gosh, if I don't treat my friends like that, why do I think it's okay to treat my children like that? So I had to relearn and revisit again and respect them as human beings that, you know what, you're a little man. You got your own opinion. You got your own thinking. You are entitled to this. So that's where that all floated from, right? And from that moment, things were easier to change. I was able to interact and maintain that. And today, we are best friends. We are best friends. And we've grown to a respectful level that anything I'm doing, I share it with him, get his opinion. Anything he's doing, Mom, what about this? What about, we interact. And when they see that, the other children, they want to be part of that too. So just to leave that a little bit with you, basically what we're saying is stop imposing yourself on your child and create a strong relationship rather than being a boss. Don't sit on a pedestal and tell that child what she should do or he should do. Place yourself below the child so that it's easier for them to talk to you. I think that is a step in moving forward, right?
Agreed.
Just take it easy. Don't overthink yourself, eh?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And the last one that we want to share is avoid seeking respect. Respect is something, it's a tricky little thing, that we demand respect because I'm the man, or I demand respect because I'm older, and all that don't matter. Because respect only comes when it's given. And if we can't give you respect, how do we expect you, the children, the young ones, to be willing to give respect, right? I don't know what you think about that, Christine, but I tell you, it is so easy to be able to make these changes. And the only tool that we need to do to make this an easy journey is love.
Absolutely. And you said it before too, is these little beings are full of opinions and they're full of beliefs and they've got so much great curiosity. They're amazing teachers. And so if we let them teach us, then we both get to grow together. And that respect just builds between us.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is our parenting tip for this week. And I hope it can reside with some of you and you could take what you want from it and implement what you can from it. Just a recap of don't forget about our S.W.I.M GoFundMe, www.gofundme.com/singlewomeninmotherhood.com. We are doing a GoFundMe campaign in support of our agency, and we're reaching out to everyone. Even if it's $5, $10, give us a hand and just basically support us, because we are there trying to make a difference in the community. And we want to see lots of moms be successful. And don't forget to check us out every Sunday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. and then the replay on Friday from 4 to 5. Find us on Facebook, Apex Radio, by hitting up the app. And it will take you all to the show. Remember to hit the like, follow, and comment. Also, go on our website, www.singlewomeninmotherhood.com, and you can just click on the S.W.I.M show, and you will be able to listen into all the shows. I'm telling you, I was speaking in Toronto at the Mo Monday, and what a blast that was. I met wonderful people. It was a different atmosphere. I enjoyed the view. It was an awesome, thanks to Michelle that had put that on and invited me down to Toronto. I am so grateful for that opportunity and for the ability to see the beautiful Toronto lights at night. It's been years since I've been in Toronto, downtown, and all the buildings. Have you been down there?
I lived in Toronto for
It's
quite a number of years.
I am originally from Toronto, but it's been years since I've moved away. But I go down, but you never go downtown. Like, I don't really club, right? So I'm not going to go downtown at night. But it was so beautiful. It was so breathtaking. And it reminds me of Manhattan. This is becoming, another New York, right? So much energy down there. So much energy. So, yeah, that was amazing opportunity. And I'm talking about London's Got Talent. We had a wonderful audition September the 22nd, 4:30 to 9:30 p.m. at the Spritz Theater. Covent Garden Market is our next audition. Come on out, people. Show us your talent. 12 talented performers will be selected to compete and perform in front of a live audience and celebrity judge on October the 20th, 2017 at the Wolf Performance Hall. The lucky winner will receive $1,000 cash prize. All other proceeds goes to benefit S.W.I.M and SMART, providing scholarship and support to single mothers in the London, Ontario community. Remember, all ages are welcome to audition any style. Bring yourselves and your unique talent. London's Got Talent 2017. Listen up, come on out, and help out the young ones. I am so, so happy to be a part of this. So, what are we here to talk about today? We are here with the lovely Christine. And I'm saying she's really lovely. A great
Thank
person to talk to. And we're talking about moving forward and doing it. And Christine, since I've met you, I have to say, I'm just overwhelmed to see the strong, not just the turnover, but to see the strong movement that you have made in your life, and to say enough is enough. I'm worth more than this. I know I can do this. And, I don't know. Talk to me about some of your interests and journeys.
Well, interesting is a great word. I have lived a very interesting life, and I have a lot of gratitude for the life that I've been living. And where does it start? Well, you know what? I don't know. One day I just looked around at my corporate job, and I was making about $60,000 a year at the age of 23, and I went, ugh, look at these people. They have big mortgages. They have big properties. They hate turning up and sitting at their desk, but they can't live without it, because if they don't make this income, they can't support their lifestyle. Oh, come on. There has to be more to life than this.
Okay.
And I walked over to my boss and I quit.
Wow, just like that.
Just like that. And they said, you can't do that. And I said, oh, I sure can. Watch me. And I walked out the door and bought a non-refundable ticket and went to New Zealand.
Ooh.
I had never been traveling before. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to go give this a try. So I tried backpacking around New Zealand the wrong way, as in I went with a huge suitcase. By the way, that doesn't work for backpacking. And I learned a lot. And I came home a little bit discouraged, a little bit out of money, and got another job and worked away, and I really enjoyed it. It was a smaller company this time, so I enjoyed helping that company build up and get bigger. And I hit that same point. Man, there's got to be more than this. So I quit again, and I bought a non-refundable ticket to Australia. And so I went to Australia, and I backpacked around there for 2 years. And, people always ask me, oh, you must have been really rich. Your parents must have given you a lot of money. And the reality of it is none of those things are true.
But this time you learned something, because you didn't walk with a suitcase, right?
I didn't. I went with a backpack.
Okay.
And I made it the whole 2 years of my visa.
Wow.
And I did amazing things. I got to be a cameleer and take people for camel rides on the beaches, watching the sunset. I got to live on a 1-million-acre cattle ranch in the middle of the outback, and I worked at a restaurant under the stars. But more what I gained from 5 years of travel was learning. I got to learn about who I was and who I wasn't. And I always said when I got to the point that I didn't want to answer who I was, what my name was, or what country I was from, that it was time to stop traveling. And I hit that point. I got tired. I'd spent some time developing leadership skills. I got to be a tour guide, taking backpackers through Europe on coach tour bus trips. And I hit burnout point. So I was living in France at the time. I was working as a bit of a ski rep, and I thought, okay, I'm also getting older. I'm running out of visas. Where would I like to live? Because it didn't dawn on me that I couldn't create what I wanted to be. So I decided to move to Alberta.
Okay.
So I spent 5 years in Alberta living in the mountains and still doing a lot of soul searching. I worked in guest ranches where I took people on horseback rides out through the mountains. I also did, monotonous restaurant work where I got to work in some great cafes and eateries. And it was all just part of my journey. And one day living in the mountains, I met somebody, and I thought, being out of the party scene and deep in the mountains and living a life of a lot of solitude, there was no way I could make bad decisions. Well, let's just say, despite using condoms and thinking I knew everything about life, I made a bad decision.
Yes.
And I got involved with somebody who had a criminal record and had lied about their identity, and I became pregnant. My whole world changed.
Wow.
You want to talk about interesting journeys?
It is always interesting.
And, the biggest thing for me that changed was when I only had myself to look after. I felt like I could do anything, I could achieve anything, and I could go anywhere. And suddenly the idea of having to look after somebody else meant I could no longer just take that backpack and go around the world. And I couldn't just throw everything I owned into a car. Babies would have needs. They have requirements. And I panicked. I went into panic mode. I suddenly didn't know how I would financially support myself. I knew that being on maternity leave would not supply me enough money to even keep a roof over my head in Alberta. I had never heard of social services. I didn't really know much about any of them. And so I panicked and I moved back to Ontario. And I came home with my head and my tail between my legs. And I felt very beaten down and defeated. And I had to come back and face old scenery that brought up old memories and old patterns. And then I had to choose. Where do I want to sit in this learning? Do I want to sit here as a victim of what has happened to me? Or do I want to turn this into the next big adventure?
And you know what? I thank you so much for sharing that with us. It's not about, you know what? When you really think about it, life is all about saying when now. Now is the time. And I mean, sometimes it comes with fear. Sometimes it comes with a lack of unknowing. Sometimes it's running for your life. But you need to know when to say when now. And you had to have been an honest person to say, okay, Christine, something isn't right here. We need to make a decision. And that's one of the biggest things, to say, I got to step back. This is a time I got to step back so I can move forward. Right? And good for you for making that call.
Yeah, it certainly was a pregnancy that took me on a crazy journey of self-awareness and a lot of grieving and processing. And the biggest thing I knew once I saw this little bundle was he's going to be looking at me for direction.
Yeah.
He's going to be looking at me for assurance and reassurance. And I think as single moms, one of the things we have to understand is it's okay if we can't do that all by ourselves. And it's about going out and finding help. And that's how I ran into you guys. When I walked in to Single Women in Motherhood, I didn't feel like I had even yet bonded with my baby. We had an unfortunate cesarean last minute, and then I got really sick after. So it was really difficult for me to even hold him. Because I was so sick. And, of course, the babies have their own reaction to the way that they came into the world. So it took us quite a bit of time to sort of bond. And I knew I needed to be more, but I didn't know how to get there. And that's what S.W.I.M was all about for me.
Yeah, right. Some of the things, Christine, that okay, so S.W.I.M was one, which is amazing for you to step up to that plate to say, listen, I need help. What can I do? I don't know where I'm going. I don't know if I'm going right, left, whatever. But you were able to do that, and that is amazing. Talk to me a little bit about some of the other things that have helped you along the way as you're getting there.
Well, I mean, quite honestly, we live in Canada. This is a free country where women have a ton of freedom, and I'm free to ask questions. I'm free to listen to radio stations. I'm free to watch documentaries. I'm free to use the internet. There are libraries that are free. There are so many resources that are available. It's just about making, the choice to do that. And so for me, it was going to groups and attending groups. It was connecting with the Middlesex Health Unit and asking for help and getting an in-home nurse to come and check on me once a week. It was about also believing in myself, though, too.
Okay.
That I could do it.
That's where it lies.
That I had all the tools. Sure, I might need some guidance or some reassurance or some extra tools, but we're born with everything we need inside of us.
Right. And that's why I say, we all have hidden talents. And the beauty about what you just said is that you got to get up and reach out. No, it's not going to come to you. I think I've said this before on the show. Like, if you're sick with the flu, the doctor cannot give me the medication to take it for you to get better. And that's what it all boils down to, is being able to say, okay, there's got to be more to this, and what else can I do? But you can't sit there and complain and expect the changes to come.
No.
It doesn't work that way. And I'm telling you, there's so much out there for us.
Yeah.
And as you said, this is Canada. I was just talking to a friend of mine last night. She's been a single mother, did a wonderful job. Her daughter went to university. Her daughter's a teacher, just landed a full-time job. And she's been sick for the last 10 years. And I look at that woman, and throughout her whole sickness, she's been up every day. She goes to work. She keeps pushing. And I look around, and I know with my accident, and people think, oh, you there's nothing wrong with you. But they don't know what goes on inside. They don't know what goes on at night when the day is done and your whole body's subsided. But you got to keep pushing. You cannot let the situation control you. You have to control the situation and make a choice. It's either that or this. It's not hard. It's not multiple questions, right?
No.
So, I am so proud. Is there any tools that you have developed along the way that has helped you with any of your journeys, or you didn't rely on tools? You didn't have anything to fall back on?
Well, I think everyone has 20/20 hindsight. So I have a lot of tools that I know now to be as tools, but maybe when I was going through it, I didn't know them to be that. We talked about spirituality for children. Getting out into nature has been the number one healing tool for me. Spending as much time even if it's in the city, in a park, touching grass, looking at a plant, looking up at a tree, just as much time as I possibly can in nature has really been a big part of my healing. I am very selective in my feed on my Facebook. I'm very selective about what I watch. I'm very selective about what I listen to. And I'm very selective about the language that I use for myself and for other people. There's so much power in our words. And we create
That's right.
our everything. So that language has been a tool. If I could only ever recommend one book to anybody, it would be a Louise Hay book. And she just passed away just very recently, which is sad to hear, but I know she can do even more work in the energetic realm. But I mean, the affirmations, the power of words, affirmations can help us so much. I like to work with plants and plant medicine. I've connected with crystals. I've connected with people. People are a wealth of information and resources. And giving back and being around people who maybe have less than you or are struggling more than you can also sometimes help us put things in perspective. And for where I'm at now, the biggest thing that I've realized is mental health. Having good mental health. And as a single parent, you don't have somebody else to check on you. You know, if you've got a husband and you go home, or you've got a girlfriend and you go home and they say, you know, I haven't seen you wear that dress, or I haven't seen you wear that suit in a while. Is everything okay? Or, you know, you didn't brush your teeth yesterday, or you've been going to bed at 6 p.m. for 3 nights in a row now. Or when was the last time you ate? You don't have anybody checking up on you or looking over your shoulder. And it's not that when you're in a healthy state you need that, but when you're in a struggling state, it's exactly what you need.
Exactly.
And so I think if you can create some basic checkpoints for yourself, like using a calendar on what day laundry day is, so you can tell when you haven't done it, or marking down the last time you bought toothpaste, and making sure that your groceries are coming in and not being thrown into the garbage, you're actually eating, and just trying to have some checkpoints on your own mental wellness, and going to things like free yoga and anything to do with movement, or those groups that meet every week, like at the Single Women in Motherhood. They get to know you, and they get to they can tell when something's not right, and they can ask you what's going on and say, man, you look great today. Or, hey, it's been a few weeks. I haven't seen you. Like, are you okay? And those are things that as a single parent, you don't have on your own. So I would encourage everybody, to reach out and take advantage. And at the same point, make sure it's the right community for you. Make sure that it feels good to you and that it's helpful to you. And also be gentle with yourself. If you've grown to a point where that particular community isn't what you need anymore, allow yourself to change.
You know, one of the things, Christine, that really connected with me, or, you know, just hit me as you're saying that, is how much we challenge ourselves when we see something in our face. When someone has changed right in your face, or they're going through things in your face, but because you don't want to judge and because you don't want to think negative, you're making excuses for that situation. And when you continue to make excuses for that situation, as you said earlier, it's that relationship, that bad relationship, that abusive relationship that you're in, and you don't know how to leave it. So sometimes even with the people that's in your life that's supposed to be part of your team, that you trust and you know, and you see these changes happening, we ourselves sometimes are afraid to call it for what it is. And that's where one of the biggest tool, as you said, your spirituality, connecting with the universe and outside and the grass and the air and the sun, it's the same spirituality that speaks to you with the gut feeling. So when something, and we as mom, we do this a lot, you know, we basically, you know, she wouldn't have did that. I don't think so. And then it's like, when you really get the opportunity, the next thing you hear is, yeah, that's what was going on. And that's not doing yourself any favor or the person any favor. Basically, it's enabling him, and also get to trust your gut feeling.
I think it's important we don't enable ourselves to have bad behavior either.
Right.
You know, it's important that we put ourselves into situations that help us do well. If you know you're someone who struggles with alcohol, don't work in a restaurant. If you know you're someone who struggles with cigarettes, don't work at a smoke shop. You know, put yourself in environments where you can set yourself up to succeed, and choose your battles, and with yourself as well.
Exactly. And you know what we're talking about is that gut feeling. It helps to build the proper team around you. Sometimes we don't know what we want or what we should be doing, but when that gut feeling speaks to you, it helps you to develop that team, that strong, positive people that you need to support you on your journey. And one of the things that I heard the other day is someone said, I don't associate with people in a less position than me. I want to clear that statement properly, or rephrase that statement. if I am working if I'm looking for help, I'm not going to find someone that's working in the healthcare field that hates their job or they're struggling or they can't pay their mortgage and stuff. You need to align yourself with someone who's happy in their work and who can encourage you to make changes. So when I say less than you, it don't mean that people are bad or anything. It means that you don't want people on the same level as you.
Well, they always say you're, as smart as the 5 people you surround yourself with.
There you go.
So if you want to be smarter, you surround yourself with 5 smarter people. And if you want to be healthier, you surround yourself with 5 healthier people. And you build that team. And we get to be our own boss at one thing in life.
Yeah.
Taking care of us.
And why not enjoy that?
Exactly.
Everybody else bosses us around. The bill collectors, the doctors, teachers. Think about it, guys. Really think about it. This is your opportunity to be the boss.
That's it.
So take advantage. Take care of you because you are special. Christine, where are you now?
Well, I am completing my herbal studies.
Woo-hoo!
I have upgraded my energetic healing techniques and am now certified to do energetic healing in both Reiki and Access Consciousness. I'm taking my children's yoga teacher training, a program that happens in London once a year.
Wow.
That was created in Costa Rica, and I'm really excited about it. And so I'm running a holistic practice at the Social Beehive here in London, Ontario, a couple of days a week. And I'm building teacher programming because I've realized I prefer to teach than to just work as an energetic healer. I'd rather give you the tools to go home and keep doing that work yourself. Yeah. So I'm working on developing some programming with that.
That's a saying. Teach me how to fish, don't
That's
fish
right.
for me, right? I like that one.
Absolutely. And I work with an amazing business partner who I connected with. And again, it's that whole think big. When I started to think big, I created and manifested my job. I created a position that never existed. I've joined with an amazing woman who owns and founded the Social Beehive. And together we're building community.
And, I think I did tell you, but I want to thank you again for that great opportunity of being part of the Inspirational Fest. Guys, remember, we talked about it week after week as it started to approach. And this is a young lady that I'm telling you from not knowing where she was when she walked into the office, and to be able to be part of such a wonderful event was really, it was just amazing. I was so impressed, and I had to get her here so she could share with you, don't give up.
Never
right?
give up.
What else?
Well, it's, I get to do amazing things because
and meet people.
I get to, that's probably the favorite part of my whole job is connecting with the community and working with people and having those little moments where I can hopefully reach in and show you one amazing thing about yourself that you just didn't even realize was lying there dormant. And hopefully when you leave, you're going to, just like Inspiration Fest, it's going to be with you for the next few weeks, maybe the next few months, and hopefully the next years as you, keep finding that inspiration from within you. We have so many things today to tell us that we can't do, or that everything's negative or everything's doom and gloom. And I'd like to argue that it's only as gloomy as you make it to be.
That's right. That's right. Wow. What's your future goal looking like?
Oh, that's an amazing question. I'm thinking big. I don't really want to live in the city. I'd like to get back to living rurally. That being said, I am a single mom, and rural properties come with a lot of work. So I'm building a business model around a rural property that will hopefully become Ontario's first sustainable community. I'd like to build an earthship community, which is buildings made out of all recyclable materials that can sustain themselves and operate on or off the grid. And I'd like to use it as an education center and run outdoor education for both children and adults. So that's my big goal.
That is amazing. What brought that idea to you?
Having a child.
So there is a blessing to having children.
There is, he's forcing me to look deep, and he's forcing me to turn up every day as the best me. And I've had to ask, what makes me the best me? What makes me happy? And when I work out what all those things are, they lead me to doing exactly that. Teaching, living in nature, and helping teach others how to care for the environment and themselves. And that all
Basically, he's teaching you how to work.
He sure is.
Hard.
Hard and with
smart.
gratitude.
And smart, yeah.
And to smile and laugh while I'm doing it, yeah.
It's so amazing to hear. It's a moment when I go, because as I have always said, just one mom, just one person, just one touch makes the world a different place. We're so grateful. And just one more thing before I let you go. What do you use to continue? Like, is there anything, now that you've been there and you got here and this is where you are and you know where you're going, is there any particular tools that you use to continue your journey? Like, okay, so we all are, okay, all right. We know we are not perfect. We know we have our ups and down days. Is there any particular thing you want to share that, that helps you to pick back up, step back up, and put a spring back into you?
I think it's maybe a couple of things. I think accountability and self-awareness. I want to make sure I can look myself in the mirror and tell myself how amazing I am. And if I can't do that, then it's time to sit and think about, where I'm at and where I want to be. And self-care is so, and self-compassion are so important. We talk to ourselves so much in our own heads, and it's so important that I'm saying nice things to myself. So having those check-in points of accountability and just looking, I think it's reflection. It's really one of my biggest tools. Is reflection and then action and accountability.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, for sharing all that with us. You know what? You're not alone. I keep telling you and everybody out there that you're not alone. And what you're going through is just part of your unique journey, that one day when you shine and you rise, you're going to look back and say, oh my gosh. So it's either. You got to make up your mind. You got to just decide. That's what it's all about.
I love that when I met you, I didn't have a home. And now I'm sitting here telling you of the village I'm about to create.
Can you imagine that? I love it. Ladies, oh my gosh, London, I'm talking to you again. Check us out. Just keep checking us out. Hit us up on www.singlewomeninmotherhood.com, 296 Horton Street, London, Ontario, 519-432-5454. Tell a friend, tell a family member, listen for someone who needs that support. We're here for them. And check us out. Don't forget, we're here every Sunday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. on the Apex Radio, and then a replay on Friday 4 to 5. Find us on Facebook, Apex Radio, by hitting the Use app, and it will take you all to the show. Remember to hit like, follow, and comment. Please, London's Got Talent. Oh my gosh, I am excited about London's Got Talent. It's a charity fundraiser and a talent show. August 23rd was our first audition that had just passed some amazing talents and professional that's coming at us. And the next audition is September the 22nd, 4:30 to 9:30 p.m. at the Sprit Theater, Covent Garden Market. The final audition will be September the 23rd, 1 to 5 p.m. at the S.W.I.M office, 296 Horton Street, London, Ontario. 12 talented performers will be selected to compete and perform in front of a live audience and celebrity judge on October the 20th at the Wolf Performance Hall. The lucky winner will receive $1,000 cash prize. All proceeds will go to benefit the S.W.I.M and the SMART, providing scholarship to support in single mothers in the London, Ontario. All ages are welcome to audition any style. Bring yourself and your unique talent. London's Got Talent 2017. And I'm telling you, S.W.I.M is running an amazing GoFundMe campaign. Come on, everyone, join us, support us. www.gofundme.com/singlewomeninmotherhood.com. I am so happy and grateful for today to be able to sit here and share with you and to let you know you are not alone. You are special. And when you are ready, you can say when now. Say when now. Now is the time to make the change. Now is the time to go back to school. Now is the time for me to get out of this uncomfortable relationship, because you are that important. And remember, everything that we do, our children see us. We are the example. We need to be the flowers for them. And thank you once again, Miss Christine, for joining us here and sharing with us your wonderful journey that has produced such a beautiful flower.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming out. And I'm happy. I am grateful that my 21-day challenge is over. And I encourage everyone to continue looking at 21-day challenges. What do you want to change? Things need to make a difference in your life. 21-day, give it a try. SingleWomenInMotherhood.com. We provide support program. The Let's Talk About It will be starting in September. And we are here to provide a support group. We have the Golden Connection PAL program. We have the Life Coaching program. We have the Little Fish program where we provide that support for mom. It's all about the moms. We also have the Childcare Exchange, which will be starting again in September, one Saturday of the month. We have some great new volunteers that's on board that's making this a reality and making a difference in the community. We are so happy and grateful. Remember, people, to give your gratitude every day. The more you give gratitude is the more good things will continue to come your way. Love, light, and blessing is all out there waiting for you. You just have to get up, show up, and receive. Right, Christine? That's what you have to do.
You got it.
You got to be ready to receive, because if you keep asking for these things and it comes to you, and all of a sudden when it comes to you knocking at your door, you're like, oh, I'm so depressed. I don't know what I'm going to do. And, oh, I didn't realize that's what was happening. Be in tune. Be connected with yourself. Be ready, because things come and go, and it happens in a flash. Opportunities lie waiting every day.
And if you feel like you're on your way and you're ready to get there, Ann-Marie and I are right here waiting.
There you go.
To help you get where you want to be.
You have to tell them again what you do. Reiki.
For me, I can also help people energetically. Absolutely. I can help you with your holistic goals. I can help you with your nutrition. I can help you with some self-care and some self-compassion. But mostly what I can help you do is hold you accountable, because if I can do it for me, I can do it for you. And again, if you're ready to do the work, come see Ann-Marie at S.W.I.M or come on and see us at the Social Beehive.
Mm-hmm. And you have a number they could reach you at?
226-927-0011.
Let Heather know she's doing a wonderful job. And
she's amazing.
We appreciate her in the community. We need more like her.
Check out our events. We've got all kinds of free events for people to come and connect as well at thesocialbeehive.com.
There you go. You heard it. It's live. Don't hesitate. Just make the move. Say when now. SingleWomenInMotherhood.com. www.SingleWomenInMotherhood.com. 519-432-5454. Hit up Apex Radio. Big shout out to the crew at Apex Radio. Just go online, Facebook. Again, you can see them at apexradio1@gmail.com, at apex_radio. You could tweet them at apexradio1. 226-582-5411 is one of the team, Sabrina. Give her a call anytime. Shout out Apex.
You're listening to Apex Radio.
Live from London, Ontario to the world, you're listening to Apex Radio.